Question 101. What is the main benefit of using a honeynet in network security? A. To block incoming attacks in real time. B. To provide a larger environment for monitoring and analyzing complex attack strategies. C. To encrypt communication between devices. D. To monitor user activities across a network. Correct answer. B. To provide a larger environment for monitoring and analyzing complex attack strategies. A honeynet is a network of multiple honeypots connected together to simulate vulnerable systems. It is designed to attract complex and sophisticated attacks by creating an environment that appears as a valuable target for cybercriminals. The honeynet allows security professionals to monitor and analyze attackers' tactics, techniques, and procedures in real time. Question 102. What steps could Greg take to manage the networked devices at a remote location, which uses an IP-based streaming security camera system, as if they were local devices, and to secure traffic to that remote location? A. An always-on IPS EC VPN. B. An always-on TLS VPN. C. An as-needed IPsEC VPN. D. An as-needed TLS VPN. Correct answer. An always-on IPsEC VPN. Using IPsEC, virtual private networks can give the impression that a remote location is connected to the local network, which would be ideal for Greg's situation where a streaming security camera needs to be relied upon. An always-on IPsEC VPN would be the most suitable solution. TLS VPNs, on the other hand, are typically used for specific applications, often related to web applications. Question 103. Which of the following best describes a TPM? A. ADNSEC extension. B. A secure crypto processor. C. Total patch management. D. Transport protection mode. Correct answer. B. A secure crypto processor. A TPM, or Trusted Platform Module, is a secure crypto processor used to provide a hardware root of trust for systems. They enable secure boot and boot attestation capabilities and include a random number generator, the ability to generate cryptographic keys for specific uses, and the ability to bind and seal data used for processes the TPM supports. Question 104. Which key forensic tool requires accurately set system clocks to function correctly? A. Disk hashing. B. File metadata analysis. C. Forensic disk acquisition. D. Timelining. Correct answer. D. Timelining. Constructing a timeline, especially from various systems, is dependent on accurately set system clocks or the inclusion of a manually configured offset. Disk hashing and acquisition do not necessitate an accurate system clock, and file metadata can be evaluated even without one. However, precise clock information or knowledge of the offset can be beneficial for analysis. Question 105. What is the name of the file generated when a blue screen of death occurs in Windows? A. A blue log. B. A dump file. C. A security log. D. A TCP dump. Correct answer. B. A dump file. A dump file is created, which contains all the contents of active memory to allow analysis of the crash. Question 106. Which of the following SIEM components collects and sends data to the SIEM for analysis? A. A sensitivity threshold. B. A sensor. C. A trend analyzer. D. An alert level. Correct answer. B. A sensor. Sensors, which can be in the form of agents, hardware, or virtual machines, are used to collect information and transmit it to a security information and event management device. Alert levels, trend analysis capabilities, and sensitivity thresholds are used to analyze and report on the data collected and not to collect the data itself. Question 107. What is the purpose of using CCTV cameras and motion sensors in physical security? A. To improve employee efficiency. B. To monitor activities and detect potential threats. C. To provide aesthetic value to the infrastructure. D. To speed up data processing. Correct answer. B. To monitor activities and detect potential threats. CCTV cameras and motion sensors are integral to physical security systems as they allow for continuous monitoring of areas, helping detect unauthorized access, suspicious behavior, or potential security threats. These technologies enable proactive security measures by providing real-time alerts and recorded evidence. Question 108. What is the role of authorization in the CompTIA framework? A. To verify user credentials. B. To monitor and log user activities. C. To determine what resources and actions a user is allowed after authentication. D. To store user access history. Correct answer. C. To determine what resources and actions a user is allowed after authentication. In the AAA framework, authentication, authorization, and accounting, authorization is responsible for defining what resources and actions a user or device is allowed to access after they have been authenticated. It ensures that users have the proper permissions and access levels to perform specific actions within the system. Question 109. What is the goal of a data retention policy within an organization's security framework? A. To enforce access control limitations. B. To govern physical security measures. C. To oversee the storage and disposal of data. D. To standardize network setups. Correct answer. C. To oversee the storage and disposal of data. A data retention policy is a set of guidelines that defines how long an organization retains its data, how it is stored securely, and how it should be safely disposed of when it is no longer needed. This policy ensures compliance with legal, regulatory, and business requirements while minimizing the risks associated with storing outdated or unnecessary data. Question 110. What is the role of log analysis in security auditing? A. To find possible vulnerabilities in the network. B. To implement access control policies. C. To identify and examine security incidents. D. To oversee software licenses. Correct answer. C. To identify and examine security incidents. Log analysis is the process of reviewing system, application, and network logs to identify and examine security incidents, such as unauthorized access, data breaches, or other suspicious activities. It helps detect patterns and anomalies that may indicate a potential security threat, allowing for early identification and a timely response. Question 111. Which command can be used to indicate the route to a remote system on a Windows 10 workstation? A. ARP. B. Netstat. C. Traceroute. D. Tracert. Correct answer. D. Tracert. The Windows Tracert command displays the pathway and time delays to a remote system. In Linux, the traceroute command performs a similar function. The ARP command permits the viewing and modification of the address resolution protocol cache in Windows, while netstat has different functions in various operating systems. However, it generally presents statistics and information on network usage and status. Question 112. Which mitigation approach involves moving a harmful file or application to a secure location for subsequent review or investigation? A. Containment. B. Deletion. C. Isolation. D. Quarantine. Correct answer. D. Quarantine. A quarantine mode moves a malicious or suspicious file to a secure location and retains it there until a defined period of time has passed, or an administrator takes remedial action. This enables further investigation of the file or restoration if it was misidentified or necessary for another function. Containment is employed to restrict the scope of an incident or attack. Isolation precludes a system or device from connecting to or accessing others, and deleting a file would eliminate it from the system. Question 113. Which of the following is most suitable for analyzing live SIP traffic? A. Log files. B. Nessus. C. Zipper. D. Wireshark. Correct answer. D. Wireshark. Wireshark is a tool that can be used to intercept and analyze live session initiation protocol traffic on a network. Analysts should bear in mind that SIP traffic might be encrypted on their network, and they may need to undertake supplementary measures to entirely view the contents of SIP packets. Log files can furnish details regarding SIP sessions and events and are valuable for subsequent analysis, but they do not provide comparable insights into live SIP traffic. Nessus is a vulnerability scanner, whereas Zipper is a fictional technology created for this question. Question 114. What does a control risk utilize from the following options? A. Financial information. B. Health information. C. Intellectual property. D. Personally identifiable information. Correct answer. A. Financial information. A control risk primarily relates to financial information. It refers to the potential risk that errors, fraud, or other irregularities in financial reporting may not be prevented, detected, or corrected by an entity's internal controls. Control risks are commonly assessed and managed within the context of financial audits or internal control evaluations, while health information, intellectual property, and personally identifiable information may also be subject to risks and require appropriate controls. They are not specifically associated with control risks. Health information is typically governed by regulations such as the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Intellectual property is protected through legal mechanisms, and personally identifiable information is safeguarded to protect individuals' privacy. These areas may involve information security and privacy risks rather than control risks as commonly understood in the context of financial reporting. Question 115. Which one is not a physical security control? A. Antivirus software. B. Closed-circuit television. C. Fence. D. Motion detector. Correct answer. A. Antivirus software. Antivirus software is used to safeguard computer systems against malware and is not a type of physical security control. Physical controls refer to security measures implemented to minimize the possibility of harm befalling physical assets. This encompasses the safeguarding of personnel, hardware, software, networks, and data from physical occurrences and incidents that may result in harm or loss. Question 116. What risk management strategy is patching systems immediately after patches are released? A. Acceptance. B. Avoidance. C. Mitigation. D. Transference. Correct answer. C. Mitigation. The risk management strategy of risk mitigation involves taking measures to reduce or eliminate the likelihood and/or impact of a specific risk. One example of risk mitigation is patching systems immediately after the release of patches, which helps to mitigate the risk of known security vulnerabilities being exploited by malicious actors. This proactive approach to risk management aims to lower the overall risk exposure of an organization. Apart from risk mitigation, other risk management strategies include risk avoidance, eliminating the risk by avoiding the activity that creates the risk. Risk acceptance, accepting the risk and its potential consequences without taking any action. And risk transfer, transferring the risk to another party, such as through outsourcing or insurance. Question 117. What type of malware is created to deliver unwanted and often misleading advertisements to users? A. Ransomware. B. Adware. C. Botnet. D. Logic bomb. Correct answer. B. Adware. Adware is a type of malware designed to deliver unwanted advertisements to users, often through pop-ups or banner ads. Its primary function is to generate revenue for the attacker by displaying advertisements, which can be misleading or intrusive, negatively affecting the user's browsing experience and system performance. Question 118. What is the main role of the data link layer in the OSI model? A. Logical addressing. B. Error detection and correction. C. Routing and forwarding. D. Segmentation and reassembly. Correct answer. B. Error detection and correction. The data link layer is responsible for establishing a reliable link between two directly connected devices by detecting and correcting errors that may occur during transmission. It achieves this by adding control information to the data frame, enabling error detection mechanisms such as checksums or cyclic redundancy checks. This ensures that the data transmitted across the physical medium is accurate before it is passed to higher layers for further processing. Question 119. Which component of the network is responsible for forwarding the actual user data packets? A. Control plane. B. Data plane. C. Network policies. D. Routing protocols. Correct answer. B. Data plane. The data plane is responsible for forwarding the actual user data packets across the network. It handles the task of transmitting data based on the routing decisions made by the control plane. The control plane determines the best paths for the data, and the data plane ensures the data is moved according to those decisions. Question 120. What type of data does the data plane process? A. Control information used for routing decisions. B. User data packets that are forwarded across the network. C. Routing table entries. D. Network security policies. Correct answer. B. User data packets that are forwarded across the network. The data plane is responsible for transmitting actual data between devices and uses the routing decisions made by the control plane to determine the best path for forwarding data. It handles real-time packet forwarding, ensuring that user data reaches the desired destination without making its own routing decisions. Question 121. Which type of software operates on behalf of a third party to gather information? A. Rootkit. B. Spyware. C. Adware. D. SCR. Correct answer. B. Spyware. Spyware is a type of software that secretly gathers data from a user's system without their permission and transmits it to a third party. This data may include browsing activity, login credentials, or other personal information. Spyware can be used for malicious activities like identity theft, or for monitoring user behavior for marketing purposes. Question 122. What is the purpose of a fusion cyber intelligence? A. To integrate security technologies to develop new, more powerful tools. B. To generate power for the local community securely. C. To encourage information sharing between agencies or organizations. D. To classify information by ratings to prevent accidental distribution. Correct answer. C. To encourage information sharing between agencies or organizations. The goal of fusion cyber intelligence is to combine and integrate data from multiple sources, agencies, or organizations to create a more comprehensive understanding of cyber threats and vulnerabilities. This encourages collaboration and information sharing, allowing different entities to respond more effectively to emerging threats and attacks. Question 123. What type of attack involves using a second wireless access point that broadcasts the same SSID as a legitimate access point in an attempt to trick users into connecting to the attacker's WAP? A. Evil twin. B. IP spoofing. C. Privilege escalation. D. Trojan horse. Correct answer. A. Evil twin. An evil twin attack involves setting up a rogue wireless access point that broadcasts the same SSID, service set identifier, as a legitimate access point. This tricks users into connecting to the attacker's WAP instead of the legitimate one. Once connected, the attacker can intercept sensitive information, such as passwords or credit card details, or potentially launch further attacks. Question 124. Which of the following is a characteristic feature of URL redirection? A. Farming. B. Directory traversal attacks. C. On-path attacks. D. Typo squatting. Correct answer. A. Farming. Farming is a cyber attack aimed at redirecting the traffic of a website to a fraudulent site without the user's knowledge, often by modifying DNS entries or exploiting vulnerabilities. The fraudulent site then collects sensitive information like login credentials or financial data, leading to unauthorized access or financial theft. Question 125. Which of the following would suggest the presence of a hidden audio file embedded within a piece of source code? A. Steganography. B. Homomorphic encryption. C. Cipher suite. D. Blockchain. Correct answer. A. Steganography. Steganography refers to the practice of hiding data within other non-suspicious data. In this case, it involves embedding a hidden audio file within a piece of source code, making the file concealed or not immediately visible. This technique can be used to hide malicious files or data for covert purposes. Question 126. Which of the following tools helps conceal an attacker's identity by using a proxy for port scanning? A. TCP dump. B. Cuckoo. C. Scanless. D. Dansenum. Correct answer. C. Scanless. Scanless is a tool that helps conceal an attacker's identity by using a proxy to perform port scanning. It allows users to scan for open ports on a target without revealing their own IP address. By using a third-party proxy, Scanless ensures that the attacker's identity remains hidden, providing an extra layer of anonymity while conducting the scan. Question 127. Which type of identification badge can be held within a certain distance of a reader device to authenticate its holder? A. Smart card. B. ID badge. C. Soft token. D. RFID badge. Correct answer. D. RFID badge. An RFID, radio frequency identification badge, uses radio waves to transmit data to a reader device within a certain range, allowing for authentication without physical contact. The holder only needs to bring the badge near the reader for it to be scanned and authenticated. Question 128. Why is improper error handling in web applications, which leads to displaying error messages, considered a vulnerability that should be addressed? A. Errors can be utilized to crash the system. B. Errors can alter system permissions. C. Many errors reveal information about the host system or its configuration. D. Many errors cause race conditions that can be exploited. Correct answer. C. Many errors reveal information about the host system or its configuration. Improper error handling is a vulnerability because when error messages are displayed in a web application, they can often reveal sensitive information about the server's environment, such as its operating system, software versions, file paths, or database configurations. This information can be exploited by attackers to identify vulnerabilities or misconfigurations that they can target to gain unauthorized access or escalate privileges. Question 129. What is the most effective way for preventing social engineering attacks? A. Double entry doors. B. Guarded entrance. C. Video cameras. D. Staff training. Correct answer. D. Staff training. Staff training is the most effective way to prevent social engineering attacks because it educates employees about the tactics used by attackers and helps them recognize suspicious behavior, such as phishing emails, phone scams, and other manipulative tactics, so they can make informed decisions and avoid falling victim to such attacks. Question 130. Which threat hunting concept involves adopting the mindset of a malicious actor to identify indicators of compromise that might otherwise go unnoticed? A. Bulletin analysis. B. Intelligence fusion. C. Maneuver. D. Threat feed analysis. Correct answer. C. Maneuver. Maneuver involves adopting the mindset of a malicious actor, understanding their tactics, and simulating their actions to identify indicators of compromise that might go unnoticed. This approach helps anticipate how attackers might exploit vulnerabilities and allows security teams to proactively detect threats. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful for you, don't forget to like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more practice questions and tips.